y'all, and welcome to today's video. We are going to be pulling out all of my Adept Cosmetics palettes, and we are going to do 7 looks. I thought it would be fun just to like shop my stash, pull out these palettes that I have, mix and match them, create some looks. Maybe if you have these palettes, you will get some inspiration. Maybe you've been considering these palettes and you want to see what I think, see some more looks, or maybe you want to shop your stash. I just thought it would be fun. That's what I did. I wanted to shop my stash and I wanted to create a bunch of looks and love the makeup I have. And if you are new here, I want to say, hey, my name is Heather and makeup makes me happy. Here at my channel, we don't try to be perfect. We just want to have a good time with our makeup, whatever that means. Shimmer, glitter, eyeshadow looks, we are here for it. So if that sounds good to you, I do hope that you will subscribe before you leave today, because I upload lots of new videos every single week. So if you are looking for new fun makeup content on your subscription feed, this is the place to be. But I'm going to talk a little bit about these palettes and then we'll do 7 looks together. So let's jump into it. Getting started, I want to show you the palettes that I'm going to be using. I want to talk just briefly about them. I do have separate videos, dedicated videos to all of these palettes with swatches and everything like that. So I will link my Adept playlist down below. So if you're curious, you can check that out. Today, we're mainly just going to focus on the 7 looks, but definitely check those videos out if you're interested in one of these palettes deeper, you want to see swatches, stuff like that. But I'm going to show you quickly kind of close-ups of the palettes that we're going to be using. First up, of course, is my collaboration with Adept Cosmetics. This is the palette that Adept and I created together. Of course, this one's my favorite. So if you're kind of curious, like, Heather, if you could recommend one palette from Adept, of course it is this one. I have tons of tutorials with this one, but yeah, it's going to be kind of part of our 7 looks today. The other palette that we've got here is Plain Jane Remastered. This palette launched new this year. This is a reformulation and new packaging kind of update to one of the older palettes that they had. This is one of my favorites, all sparkly, beautiful goodness. I also have here the Amunet palette. So freaking beautiful. Before my palette, this was my favorite Adept palette. This is like fun, colorful, and neutral shades. It's that beautiful matte formula that I love from Adept. Beautiful multi-chromes. Everything about this I just absolutely love. So we're going to use this one. Then I have Nin Hydrant. This is in the older Adept formula, but I have this. I love it. It's beautiful. We're going to play with it today. We've got just 2 mattes, and then we have a bunch of shimmery, shifty goodness shades. And the last palette, I debated including this in the 7 looks because this palette is discontinued. This is the Kodan palette. But you know what? I love this palette. I know a lot of you have this palette. So I thought, you know what? We'll put it in a look for fun. Again, it is discontinued, but I want to shop my stash. I want to love the makeup I have. This, again, is like a multi-chrome, shimmery, shifty palette with 2 beautiful matte shades. So we're going to play with this one as well. How many palettes did I say I had? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 palettes that we are going to play with. I do have a discount code with Adept. My affiliate code is Heather. It will save you on the Adept site, but it is not good for the Heather Austin palette. Oh my gosh, I forgot. House of L. I'm sorry, I stuck it over there because it's in my like review bin. We're going to be playing with House of L too. I can't believe I didn't pull it over here, but I'll of course insert a clip of it close up so that you can see. All the clips that I'm inserting, these are used palettes because I love these palettes and I use them. I can't believe I forgot. I'm so glad I caught myself. House of L will be in this too, but I don't want to ramble on too much. We do need to get into the 7 looks so this video isn't a million years long. All right, all that's done. Everything will be linked in the description box. Now let's jump into it. Okay, my eyes are primed and ready for shadow. I will link the primers that I use down below in the description box. We're going to start off with Ninhydrin, and I really want to go into ACM 3-1. I really like the Ninhydrin palette. I think it is so beautiful, and I want to start off with this kind of cool tone shade, and I'm going to press this right into the crease. And this is a BK Beauty brush. I'm just kind of slowly building this up. Okay, next I'm going to swap to a smaller BK Beauty brush, and I'm going to go into PAO2 from my palette with Adept, the Heather Austin palette. And I'm going to build this up in this outer corner right here, just for some depth. I think this pairs really, really pretty with this shade from the Ninhydrin palette. So I'm just slowly buffing that in. I don't want to take it out too far, and I don't want to take it up too high. I just want it to stay right in here. Next, I'm going to go back into ACM 3-1, the first matte shade that we went in with from the Ninhydrin palette. And I'm putting this on the lower lash line. This is also a BK Beauty brush. I'll link my most commonly used brushes in the description box too. But this shade, I'm just kind of buffing under the lower lash line. I'm letting it come down a bit low. Then I'm going back into PAO2, and I'm going to buff this super close to the lash line, so I'm not taking it down as low as we took the other matte. I want to keep it much closer. Okay, next I'm taking a little bit of my NYX glitter primer. You don't have to use this, but it's going to make intense sparkly shadows pop even more. And I want to go into Ninhydrin, and I've been kind of debating which shade do I want to use, but I think I want to go into Ninhydrin, this multi-chrome here that's so beautiful. So I'm going to pick that up on a BK Beauty brush, and I'm going to tap it right over that NYX primer that I put down. And you see, I'm just kind of packing it on first to make sure that my entire lid is covered. Oh, that shade is so sparkly and beautiful. I said this is a multi-chrome. I'm not sure. I'm just describing shades how I see them. Okay, once I have that shade set down, I'm just going to go back and forth, kind of buff that shade in. So pretty. Oh, I love the way it looks with these two matte shades. And then let's do something on the inner corner. Let me think about, what shade do I want to do for the inner corner? Do I want to keep this on the purple side? Do I want to bring it to like a more pinky tone? Okay, I think I'm going to stick to the Ninhydrin palette and go in with ACD 1-8, right? ACD 1-8, yes. This is going to, oh, look at that, so pretty. I mean, we only used what, 4 shades? 4 shades for this look, like so simple. So simple to just pop on 4 shades. And I feel like this looks so beautiful and impactful. Oh, I love it, simple. 4 shades. I'm gonna finish up this eye, liner, mascara, all that, and I will be back. All right, y'all, this is the finished look. I just put on some liner and mascara, kept it super simple, but yeah, I really like this look. I used 3 shades from Ninhydrin and this just a shade from my palette to help deepen things up, but I'm super into it. This is the first look. We have 6 more to go, but I do want to tell you what other makeup I have on, just in case you're curious. I'm wearing House of Sillage lip liner in NICOLE'S Nude. NICOLE'S Nude. House of Sillage lipstick in Alpha Female okay. I'm wearing my Hourglass Ambient Lighting Volume 3 palette as bronzer. I'm wearing my DIOR 001 Pink blush, one of my favorite blushes of all time, and my Sephora Golden Hour Highlighter Duo in the shade 02 Daybreak. So that is the other makeup that I have on. But I'm feeling this purple sparkly look. One last time, one last look, and let's jump into look number 2. Okay, for this look, we are going to be using AMBIENT and Plain Jane Remastered. My eyes are already primed for shadow, and I want to do something like super light in here and then out to dark. So I'm going to start with the AMBIENT palette, and I'm going to go into this really, really light shade. This is like it's like deeper than vanilla, but it's lighter than my skin tone, this shade called Toth. All right, I'm taking this shade on a BK Beauty brush, and I'm really kind of just putting it all in the crease and above. It's light, but it's a little bit deeper than my eye primer. So I'm going to just buff that in. I just want this to be really, really light in here, but I also want it to be matte. So this shade is going to be perfect for that. Okay, I'm going to grab this little BK Beauty brush, and I want to go into the AMBIENT palette into this deep shade right here. Just a deep, deep matte brown. I'm going to tap off any excess, and this is going to go in the outer corner. And I'm going to be careful not to pull it in too far because I want this to stay right out here. And I want the inner part of my eye to stay really light and bright. And I want it to fade into the depth in the outer corner. So I'm just lightly buffing that, and I'm being careful with like how I'm blending to make sure I don't bring it too far in. Okay, I put that dark brown shade under my lower lash line as well, but you can kind of see the shape that I'm hoping to create. I'm going to jump over to the Plain Jane Remastered palette, and I'm going to go in with ACI 3. This is a very shifty shade, but it is so beautiful. And this is a Real Techniques brush that I don't have a name for. I'm just going to put that shade on the lid. Look at how beautiful that is. This shade is so beautiful because it's like a neutral champagne, leaning a little bit on the green side in some lights, and then it just has like the most beautiful, almost like a rainbow sparkles in it. I really don't know how to describe it other than stunning, but I'm gonna keep this right on the lid, just like this. So when my eyes are open, you can see it all over the lid, and I'm bringing it up a little bit too, just right here in the socket for me. And this, where you see the brown, kind of like a harsh line, I will go back and blend in a minute. I just want to get the shadow down to where I can see kind of like the shape I'm creating, and then I can go back and smooth out these blends. I just love this shade so much. Oh, it's so beautiful. This is one of the best shades in the Plain Jane Remastered palette, in my opinion. It's so stunning. Of course, any of the looks that I'm doing, you can use one palette. Like, you could definitely use one of the beautiful shifty shades from this palette instead of dipping into Plain Jane. You could use Bassett. That would be really pretty. But I just wanted to have fun mixing the palettes. For the inner corner, I want to go into ACI 15. This is like a gold to pink shifty shade, but I think it's so beautiful. So I'm just going to grab a little rounded pencil brush. I think this one's from Tarte. And it's going to pull in a little bit of like pink. But I want to go in with a pink blush. I have on a cream blush today. I have on the Love Youth and Play blush. I have on the shade Youth. But I'm going to top it with a powder blush that's going to be pretty pink. So I want to pull in some pink right here to this inner corner. I'm going to blend a little bit. I'm going to put on liner and lashes, and then I will be right back. All right, y'all, this is the finished look. I am super duper into this eye look. I know I do like colorful looks so much, but I wanted to show you a neutral look with these Adept palettes. And I also see comments sometimes that don't make sense to me, but people say like multi-chromes aren't wearable. Well, here we have one on my eyes in a neutral look, and it's sparkly and fun. So I really like this. When I do neutral looks, I like to have texture, fun, contrast, things like that. So I would love to know what you think of this neutral look. But to finish it off, I did put on my Kiss lashes. This is in the style Ruffle. I'm wearing my Sephora matte blush in Hey Jealousy. I'm wearing my Sephora Golden Hour Highlighter Duo in the shade Daybreak. And my lips are Unearthly Cosmetics Kalina. So that's what I used to finish off this look. Okay, for this look, my eyes are primed. All my favorite eye primers will be listed in the description box for y'all. But I kind of have a vision of what I want to happen. So I'm going to see if I can create something like what's going on in my head. I'm going to take this Unearthly Cosmetics brush, and I'm going to go into this beautiful purple shade in this Amunet palette. This is the deep version of the palette. And I'm going to make sure there's no creases in my primer. And I'm going to put this purple shade down right here. See, I'm using a small but fluffy brush because we're going to do 3 different colors in the crease. And I want this purple to be right here on the inner part of the lid and up above the crease as well. Up here almost to the brow. Okay, next up I'm going to grab this Beauty Bay brush, and I want to go into the shade Mythology. This is one of the matte shades in my collab palette with Adept, and this I just want to go right here, not all the way out to the outer corner, but I'm just going to put that from lash line up. Okay, so I have that brighter purple, and then I have that green yellowy shade, and then I'm going to go into PaO2, also from my palette. This is deeper than the other 2 shades that we used, and I'm picking this up on a Lunar Beauty brush, and this is going to be right out here. So I am first packing and then blending. Okay, now that I have those matte shades in the crease, I can go back and blend a little bit more once we're done. But I want to grab this Unearthly brush back into the Amunet palette, and we're going to go into Anubis. This is a shifty shade, but I would say it's mostly purple. Okay, I want to put this right under where we put Mythology and PaO2. So I'm going to keep it on this second half of the lid. I'm going to bring it all the way up right there, stopping where my socket is, and then down to the lash line. All right, then I'm going to snap back over to my palette, and I'm going in with the shade Smith. Smith is a beautiful multi-chrome, and we're going to put this on the rest of the lid. So it's going to go right underneath that matte purple shade. Okay, so I'm just going to pull this right here. It's going to be so beautiful. Okay, I'm going to take the shade PaO2, and I'm just putting this on the lower lash line. This is the shade from my palette that we used to deepen up the outer corner, and I'm just going to pull this around like this. And then to highlight the inner corner, going back to Amunet and going in with Hathor, this beautiful multi-chrome that's going to be right there on the inner corner. I'm going to blend just a little bit more, put on some lashes, and I'll be back. All right, y'all, this is the finished look. I'm really into it. I was kind of like going for a color block thing. So we have like really deep, brighter, deep. Then we have like the purple, then we have the green. That's what I was going for. I'm pretty happy with how the look turned out. A little fun, a little different. I'm into it. I did put on some black eyeliner. I put on some Ardell wispy lashes. That is what I have to complete the eye look. Now let me tell you what I have on the rest of my face. I'm wearing Makeup by Mario Creamy Peach Blush. I'm wearing OFRA Highlighter Lotus Blossom. And lips is House of Sillage Lip Liner NICOLE'S Nude, House of Sillage Lipstick in Velvet Nude, and my Lunar Beauty Gloss in the shade Mystery. So this is the finished look. I would love to know what you think of this like purple green color block type of look before we jump into the next one. Okay, my eyes are primed and ready. I used my Sigma eye base in the shade Ignite, and we are going to mix palettes today. I'm going to be mixing, taking this Amunet palette. We're going to use shades from here, and then I'm going to also, let me flip it around, use my palette with Adept. We're going to mix and match. And first what I'm going to do is go in with this shade right here, Mythology. I love this shade, y'all. Of course I do. I love every shade in the palette. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my Lunar Beauty 3 brush. I'm going to go into Mythology. This shade I'm going to put right here. This brush from Lunar Beauty is pretty dense. It's tightly packed, not super fluffy. So I'm using this because I really want this shade to be intense. I don't want it to be too blown out. I want it to be nice and packed on right here. Okay, so you can see with this shade, I'm blending it up towards the front of my brow right there. I'm bringing it down to the lash line and then kind of flicking it in like this so that it's super kind of blended. And I mean, my socket of my eye is right here, and I'm bringing this up because I want this shade to be really present when my eyes are open. Okay, now I want to go into the shade Seth. This is the Amunet dark version of the palette. There is a dark and light version, but I'm going to go into this blue right here, Seth. I'm picking this up on a melt brush. And I have been wanting to mix Mythology and Seth for so long. I just think these colors are going to look so beautiful together. And I'm really just packing this on and making this super intense right out here. And you see I'm kind of putting the shadow down at an angle. So it's going to go out like this on my eye. Okay, now I'm taking this BK Beauty 204, the shade Seth, and this is going to go right under the lower lash line. Not all the way in though, about halfway. And I'm going to connect it out here to what's on the upper lash line just to kind of like accentuate the shape that we have going on. And I'm just going to pull it in like this. Back and around. Then I'm going to go back into Mythology with this Lunar Beauty brush, and I'm going to put this on the other part of the lower lash line right in here. So we're going to mimic what we have going on top, except the blue's coming in further and Mythology is not coming in quite as far. I'm getting up close. I've got this little Odin's Eye handheld mirror, and I'm lightly wrapping Mythology to where it goes a little bit under that blue Seth shade. I don't want to blend them together really though. I don't want them to get muddy. So just a tiny bit right here. And where they meet, it will kind of create a different tone. So I want it just to fade nicely without it being too blended. Okay, now we're going to put something kind of in this blank space that we have, and we're going to keep it at an angle as well to keep that kind of effect going. Okay, I'm going to grab this What's Up Beauty brush, and I'm going into this beautiful green shade right here. So, so pretty. I am going to spray my brush. Whatever makeup mist you have laying around is fine. Usually to spray my brushes, I use like whatever is not expensive. Okay, so I'm gonna look down into my mirror so I can make sure I'm placing this where I want it. I'm first gonna kind of pat it on the lid, and then I'm just going to bring it in a little bit on top of that Mythology shade, bring it up here, and then I'm just going to lightly kind of dust and even bring this shade, you can see, up above the crease, above the socket, so that it's nice and just fades, with it being most intense at the lash line and then just slowly fading up. Okay, I'm going back with the melt brush and I'm just gonna kind of blend, go back with the original brush we used for Mythology. When I do looks, I kind of like to put the colors where I want them, get them down, kind of like map out my look, and then I go back and I'll blend after that. I don't know, to me that's the way like looks make the most sense, when I can like kind of see it and then go back and blend. So now that I have these colors laid down, I'm gonna blend some more, but I want to do something on the inner corner, and I'm kind of debating like what I want to do. Do I want to do something bright? Do I want to do something dark? But what I think I'm going to do, I've been looking back and forth at these palettes. I think I'm going to go in with Austin. It's just like, it's a multi-chrome that is going to pick up so many different shifts. It's going to do exactly what I needed to do. And it's going to give me like some brightness, some contrast, and I want that. I want that brightness. I'm just going straight in with this little Morphe brush. There's no name or number on this one. I'm pretty sure it came in a holiday set. And I'm just really putting that shade Austin right there. I'm going straight from the pan to the brush to the eyes. I'm not spraying it or anything like that. I'm kind of into this. Like, I'm really feeling this. I'm going to blend a little bit more. I'm going to put on some eyeliner, some lashes, and then I will be back and we'll see the finished look. All right, y'all, this is the finished look. I just put on some black eyeliner. I used my Pat McGrath Legendary Eyewear eyeliner, and I put on some Kiss Ruffle lashes. I am loving the way this looks together. I'm so here for it, but let me tell you what else I did to get this look. I am wearing my Hourglass Ambient Lighting Volume 3 palette for bronzer. For blush, I have on Lunar Beauty Nude Prism Blush Palette. I'm wearing this shade right up here called Kawaii. And highlighter, I put on Odin's Eye Solmon Moonlight Feel Highlighter in Warm Sunshine. This one right here that's kind of like yellowy in tone. Definitely a shifty, beautiful highlight. For lips, I'm wearing Pat McGrath Bridgerton Veiled Rose Lipstick, and then I put my Unearthly Cosmetics Cupid Lip Gloss on top. So that is how I got this look. I hope you enjoyed this tutorial. I am so looking forward to wearing this eye look for the rest of the day. I love the blue of Seth together with the Mythology shade. Like, I'm just so here for it. Okay, for this look, we're going to be mixing palettes again. First, I'm going to grab my palette, the Heather Austin palette, and I want to go straight into the shade Atlas. This shade is just going to go all in the crease. I'm just laying it down right on top of the primer. And then I'm going to buff it in. I just kind of patted the pigment on where I want it, and now I'm going to buff and blend. This brush is from What's Up Beauty, so it is like a natural hair brush. And I love the way it blends this shade on. Okay, next I'm going to grab this What's Up Beauty brush. I'm going to jump into my Amunet palette, and I'm going to tap into Toth right here. And I'm going to use this just to buff a little bit along that shade Atlas, just blending along the edges. This is just going to lighten it up just a tiny bit. All right, after that, I'm gonna grab this Lunar Beauty brush and I wanna go into Imhotep. I'm not sure if I'm saying that correctly, but I wanna pick it up. It's this dark, dark, dark brown, and I'm going to push this right into the lower lash line. I'm gonna blend it in to the lower lash line, and then once I have all the pigment down and there's not much left on the brush, I'll blend it lower like this. So just back and forth, back and forth. Okay, for the lid, I just want to go all over the lid with this shade right here, Video Chat. This is a multi-chrome. It's going to look so beautiful on the lid. I'm going to pick that up on my What's Up Beauty brush, and I am going to spray my brush. Whatever makeup mist spray you have around is fine. Oh, I love that shade. Every single time I use it, I'm like, wow, wow, wow. So pretty. I'm just pressing that on the lid. All right, we're doing the same thing over here. I love the way this multi-chrome can be paired with super bright, colorful shades, and it can look super colorful and fun and different, or you can put it with more neutral browns like I'm doing today, and it will pull a bit more neutral. But either way, neutral or super colorful, I get to have a multi-chrome. Okay, for the last shade, I'm actually going to pop over to my Plain Jane Remastered palette. And I want to go in with ACI 10. I want to pull in like a little bit of pink. And this is a pinky shade for sure. Let me find a little brush. Okay. This is like a white to pink flip, and I think it's gonna pair really pretty with a Video Chat, and it's gonna look cool next to this deeper brown shade we have under the lower lash line. It's just going to like complement and contrast really well. I'm gonna blend a little bit more. I'm gonna throw on eyeliner. I'm gonna skip false lashes today. I'm just gonna do mascara, and then I will be back. All right, y'all, this is the finished look. I put on some of my Pat McGrath Legendary Wear eye kohl and some mascara, and that's how I finished off this eye look. I really like it. I'm gonna be wearing this look to work today. So let me show you what else I have on my face. For bronzer, I have on my Hourglass Ambient Lighting Volume 3 palette. I use that for bronzer. For blush, I'm wearing this Pat McGrath Bridgerton Trio. I'm wearing this blush right here and this highlight right here. The names are Venus, Nectar, and Cherish. And then for lips, I'm wearing my Dose of Colors Truffle Lip Duo. So that's what I have on the lips. I'm going to be pulling my hair back off my face and heading out the door to work. So I hope you enjoyed this look, mixing 3 palettes together. For this look, I'm going to start off with Ninhydrin, and I want to go into this cool toned brown shade right here. I want to kind of just experiment and play with this look. So I'm picking it up on this BH Cosmetics brush, and I'm going to put this all here. I'm not going to take it super far out. I'm just gonna buff and blend this shade in though. You can see it's kind of, I say cool tone, but it's not super cool tone. It's definitely not a gray, but it definitely leans cool neutral. Okay, I want to go into House of L, this beautiful shade right here. And I think that's going to look so pretty next to that neutral shade. But I want to keep it right out to this outer corner. I'm using this BH Cosmetics brush, and I'm just buffing this around. Okay, after that, I'm going to go back into Ninhydrin. I'm going to take this What's Up Beauty brush, and I'm going to use this multi-chrome right here, ACI 19. I love this. It's like a purple pink gold shift. All right, I'm gonna put this all on my lid, but I'm not going to take it in this like this tiny little patch right there. I'm going to leave that blank for a darker color. But look how pretty and sparkly this is. Like, it's so sparkly. I just love it. Like, the reflex looks so beautiful. Okay, now I'm going to grab this IT brush, and I want to go into ACI 25. This is another shifty shadow. It looks green when you look at it like head on, but then it's kind of like this weird gray black color when you look at it to the side, but it's also really sparkly, and we're going to put it in this space right out here. I'm just going to place that shade right here so we have where the two shades kind of fade into one another. Now, I don't know if I said this at any point in the video, but this is just a reminder. I'm not a makeup artist. I'm just somebody who loves makeup. I love playing with makeup. I love pairing colors together, but I'm definitely no makeup artist. Okay, for the lower lash line, I'm going to grab this Pat McGrath Legendary KOHL whatever, and I'm going to put this in the waterline, and I'm also going to drag it on the lower lash line, just kind of messily, making sure I get the liner there, buffing it down and around like this, and then we're going to smudge it in with a shadow. I'm going to go in with this kind of smudge brush from IT brushes, and I'm looking, and I've been debating between ACI 2.3 and ACI 2.1, but I think I want to go in with this one. This one's super sparkly. It's more of like a blue purple, and I'm going to put this right on the lower lash line, and I'm even going to bring it up into that black, not on the waterline, but where we smudged the black in the lower lash line. So I'm just going to buff back and forth like this. All right, after that, I'm going back into House of L, and I really feel like I could use any of these shades on the inner corner and it would be fun, but I want to go in with something darker rather than lighter, so I'm going to go in with this shade right here, and that's going to be so pretty, almost like this burst of like color. Even though we have this colorful eye look out here, I just kind of like this little bit of red. Is it red, or is it peach, or is it magenta? I don't know. It just shifts so different. So I'm just going to put that in the inner corner. I'm going to go in with, you know what? I think this would be really cool to leave no liner up top, just mascara, so you can really see all the shades and shimmers that are going on the lid. So I'm going to put on some of my Melt Supernatural Lash, curl my lashes, and I'll be back. All right, y'all, this is the finished look. I really like it. I love how like bright and shifty it is on the lid, with how like kind of dark and sparkly it is on the lower lash line. I just put on a coat of mascara. For the rest of this look though, if you're curious, I'm wearing my Sigma blush in the shade Bronze Star. So no highlight, just this super glowy blush. And then my lips are my Dose of Colors Truffle Lip Duo. That's the lipstick and the gloss. And then I used a lip liner from the Glamlite Frosted Flakes collection. So here is this look. I like it. I really like it. I'm excited to wear it for the rest of the day. I always like sparkly, shifty type of looks, but I do have more to share with you. So let's jump into it. Y'all, eyes are primed, ready for shadow. We are going to get into this last look, and I want to start out with Kodan. This palette, not available anymore, but I thought it would be fun to use it. And you know, if you don't have it and you're like sad you can't get it, see what you have in your stash, see what you have, jump in. I'm going to go with ACM33. So this is the older matte formula from Adept, but I really wanted to go with a hot pink. So I'm going to make sure my primer doesn't have any creases And I'm using an Unearthly Cosmetics brush to really put this all in the crease. So I'm just going to press it on first. So I'm going to press it on, make sure I have the pigment how I want it, and then I'm going to lightly blend back and forth. But I really want this pink shade all here in the socket. Okay, now that I have that shade how I want it, I want to kind of buff it out and bring in another shade. So I'm going to jump over to the House of L palette, and I don't want this shade and I don't want this shade. I want something in the middle. So remember, you can mix your shadows to create your custom shades. So I'm going to do like 2 little taps in this shade and about 3 or 4 little taps in this shade to kind of get something in the middle. And I'm going to use this. This is another Unearthly Cosmetics brush. And I'm just lightly buffing along the edges. I went in so lightly, like I was picking up tiny amounts of product. And I just want to use this to kind of fade that bright pink up and out. Just like this. Just soft little circular blending motions. Okay, now I want to go in with this little like dense brush from Unearthly into ACM 3-4. This beautiful, it's like a green, but it has kind of a teal tone to it as well. And I'm going to put this right in the lower lash line. So I'm just pulling this in pretty close. Keeping that right there against the lash line, just pressing it in and then buffing the brush back and forth. I want to go back over to my House of L palette, and we're going to go into this bottom matte shade. I'm taking that and I'm buffing it right under so that we have a really nice fade to where we have that deepest shade closest to the lash line and this lighter shade that it's kind of fading into, and then the color ends. So just like this, back and forth buffing. Okay, all over the lid, I want to go in with this shade from the House of L palette. This is like a really, really shifty, sparkly shade. Okay, I'm taking this brush on a BK, I'm taking this shade. I said I'm taking this brush. No, I'm taking this shade on a BK Beauty brush. You can see this is kind of a big, fluffy brush. That's exactly what I want because I want the shimmer to go all over the lid, and I'm going to kind of buff it up. Not above the socket, but right in the socket so that it also goes on top of that matte pink that we put down. After that, I'm going to jump back over to the Kodan palette, and I want to go in with this shade right here to highlight my inner corner. This is just a really pretty, sparkly shade right here, kind of like a sand color. That's going to be my inner corner highlight. I'm going to finish up this look, and then I'll come back. All right, y'all, this is the finished look, mixing these 2 palettes together. I really like it. Let me tell you what else I used. I did put on some Kiss lashes. Everything I used, of course, will be linked in the description box. I have on Makeup by Mario Poppy Pink Blush. I have on for highlight M Cosmetics Sunscape Highlighter in the shade Majesty. My lips are a mix of things. I have on the House of Sillage lip liner in Envious Nude, House of Sillage lipstick in Lustful, and then I put on a little bit of gloss. This is Wet Cherry Gloss from Lime Crime in the shade Disco Cherry. So I would love to know, did you like these 7 looks? Will you be shopping your stash? I hope even if you don't want to recreate any of these, maybe I entertained you at least. I hope you had fun watching. But let me know if you want to see this style of video in the future. Do you want to see more 7 looks where I'm mixing and maxing different palettes? I had a lot of fun doing it. Yeah, I really like this look. we're actually going out to dinner. We're just going somewhere super casual, but I'm excited. We're going out. I really am feeling my look. Like, I keep kind of looking at myself because that sparkle on the eyes is so intense. I'm just here for it. But thank you again for watching. Make sure you subscribe. Let me know which look was your favorite. Thank you for watching. I'll see you soon. Bye.